What's up guys, welcome to the Crest of Courage card game channel. Today I'm going to do a deck profile based around one of my all-time favorite Digimon, Gallantmon. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, starting us off, pretty basic, but we've got 4 of the Digimon that lets you draw 1 when attacking. This is really the best Digi-Egg for Gallantmon in my opinion. Just getting that little extra draw power here and there does help the deck out quite a bit. Up next, we've got our rookies, or our level 3s here. So we've got 4 of the EX2 Guilmon as well, which is probably the best Guilmon still to this day. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, and 1 Takato among them from your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. So, of course, it's our main searcher of the deck, being able to add any of our upper level Digimon as well as our main Tamer. So, of course, that's a really super useful effect. He also has, when attacking, if this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. So, I feel like that doesn't come up a whole lot, but it can if your opponent's just spamming the field with a bunch of stuff. You know, getting that little extra deletion can come up, but really this is the main one you want to be hard playing, and it's our main searcher, so that's why we're playing 4 of him. Next up, we're playing 3 of the newer BT13 Guilmon. This one also has on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add all Takatos among them to your hand, and then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So this is good for searching your Takatos if you really are desperate for a Takato. However, the other one I feel like does a good enough job of that, as well as also getting all of your other Digimon. So this one I would only play if, you know, absolutely necessary, but it can come up. Then it also has the inheritable, your turn. When this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, it gets plus 2000 DP. That is another huge reason to use this Guilmon. That plus 2000 DP can definitely come up. Gallantmon doesn't have a whole lot of ways of gaining DP normally until this newest set of Guilmons and Growlmons, so that is a welcome addition to the deck. Now, we also have 3 of the starter deck Guilmon. This is still one of my favorites. Your turn. If your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Gallantmon in your hand for its Digivolution cost of 4, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. So you just get to Digivolve into any Gallantmon. It has to be specifically Gallantmon, though, so it can't be Gallantmon X-Antibody, Chaos Gallantmon, anything like that. It has to be Gallantmon specifically. For a Digivolution cost of 4, ignoring all other requirements, though, is really good, and we'll get into that later. But also, the main reason I really like this one is the inheritable, which is your turn. Once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, draw 1, so it gives us some more draw power as well, which is always nice. But then we also have 3 of the new EX4 Guilmon here, and we'll take a look at this guy. So he Digivolves for 0 on a Digimon, so you don't have to worry about the 1 cost there. However, you could play the 1 cost if you wanted to like pass your opponent to 1 or something, so that can kind of come up. But he is just a 3 cost to play, and he has on play if the total number of cards in both players' trashes is 20 or more, this Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Now, this Digimon gains Rush for the turn is super useful to know, because you can still Digivolve him. You know, you can play him and Digivolve him, and he can still have Rush for the turn, so he can still attack that turn that you played him, which is really useful. I would say of all of these, if you really wanted to cut down on one of them, I could put him to 2. He's really just for, you know, the second half of the game once the trash numbers are up there. And that's because it does take a little while, you know, to build up the trashes for both players. However, we do have a lot of effects in this deck that deletes things and trashes cards, so it doesn't take too long. I would say you could see it by like turn 3 or 4 maybe. So, you know, late game, he just kind of helps you finish off the game. Play him with Rush. You know, he attacks, he gets that 1 extra check that your opponent was not thinking you were going to have. So it can really change the game in an instant. So I do like to have 3 of him just so that I can definitely have him when I need him. But you could drop him to 2. I don't think it would be that big of a deal. Lastly, it's not really a level 3 or a level at all, but we do play 2 Calumon. And this is kind of a flex spot also. This could kind of, you know, if you wanted to run like Guilmon X-Antibody or something, you could probably drop one of these and both of these and play 3 Guilmon X's or something like that. That'd be a lot of rookies still. Or you could play some other options or something. But Calumon I like because if you have a Guilmon, you can play him for a cost of 1, and he pretty much pays for himself right away, because he has your turn. When one of your Digimon Digivolves, you may suspend this Digimon to gain a memory, draw a card, and then one of your your Digimon gains plus 3000 DP for the turn. So again, you know, just drawing another card, gaining some memory back, as well as giving a huge DP buff to our, you know, whatever Digivolved or really any of our Digimon is really great. So I really like having that Calumon, just a simple 1 cost to play him, and gets you some pretty big buffs. So I like him a lot. But moving on to our level 4s or our champions, we have 4 copies of the starter set Growlmon. Now, this one, I've seen a lot of people pretty much play the same lineup, and, you know, depending on your own personal play style, which one you're going to play 4 of, which ones you're going to play 2 or 3 of. I think this one is the best to play 4 of, in my opinion, because, first of all, the reduced play cost of only a 4 to hard play this, where all the other ones being 5s. This one, you know, if you really, really have to, if even after mulligans you can't get yourself a rookie for some reason, just hard playing this for 4 is not that bad. So it can come up in, you know, really niche situations. But yeah, otherwise, the inheritable effect, once per turn, your turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory. It's really good, and especially in multiples, so I don't mind having multiples of this guy underneath. If you have like 2 stacks, you can gain up to 2 memory for deleting something. It's pretty nuts. And this is the main one you want to be digivolving in raising, and these ones you want to be digivolving out here because they both have when digivolving effects. So that's kind of another reason that I would prefer to have 4 of this, and you still have 6 other effects they're going to be activating when digivolving out here, so you can actually get their effects. This one doesn't matter quite as much, but it does help out a lot. So when digivolving, if you don't have a Takato in play, you may play a Takato from your hand without paying its cost. So that's great. You'd want at least 2 or 3 of this guy to be able to see him enough for that to, you know, come up. And it is very useful to be able to play a Takato if you don't already have one. But, you know, sometimes you already played one, then you draw him like a turn or 2 too late, and that kind of sucks. But he still has a really good inheritable, that same thing as the BT12 Guilmon, that if this has Growlmon or Gallantmon in his name, it gets plus 2000 DP. So that is really strong as well. And it could be a reason to play Growlmon X-Antibody as well, because Growlmon X-Antibody does have Growlmon in name, could digivolve for 0 on him, get plus 2000 from him, so he's already 8000. 10 if you've got the Guilmon. I don't really like the Growlmon X-Antibody as much anymore because he just doesn't really do anything that I'm trying to accomplish. But it is a good one that you could potentially swap in for one of these. But next up we have the Black Growlmon from EX4. And this guy's, you know, he digivolves for 2 on anything with a Guilmon in name, a level 3 with Guilmon in name. So you don't have to worry about that 3 cost. But when digivolving, trash the top 2 cards of both players' decks. Then you may return 1 Guilmon or 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name from your trash to your hand. So it's really cool. It's like some neat little recursion, you know. Trash is the top 2 of both players' decks, so it does push us both forward to having a combined total of 20 for our Guilmon to on-play effect. But then he also has the same effect as an inheritable on deletion. You may return 1 Guilmon or 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name from your trash to your hand. So either when digivolving him or when he's deleted, you can get something back. It's really nice when he is in the stack that gets deleted, because you can get back your Gallantmon or Guilmon or, you know, whatever piece you're missing to start a new stack. It's really, really handy. And yeah, it's just really cool. You know, trashing the decks and then pulling something out of trash is really helpful. It's kind of like its own little mini search, but for things that have already been trashed, it can come up, and I really like the on deletion effect. But that's going to do it for the champions. All right, so on to our ultimates, our level 5s here. We're just playing 4 and 4 of the EX3 and the BT12 WarGrowlmons. So let's take a look here. This one, don't worry about the purple Digivolution cost. It can also digivolve for 3 from any level 4 that's name contains Growlmon, so it can digivolve on Black Growlmon, Growlmon X, etc. But yeah, when digivolving, both players trash the top 3 cards of their decks. Then, if a player has 5 or more cards in their trash, you may play 1 Guilmon or 1 Takato from your trash or your hand without paying the memory cost. So that's really, really strong. Obviously, by the time you digivolve into this guy, you just have to make sure that at at least one of you will have 5 cards in trash, because you really want to make sure that you've either already checked something or already deleted something, and you've gotten a couple cards in their trash, so that when you do Digivolve this and you trash 3, they're going to have at least 5. Or if maybe you've lost a couple, like maybe you attacked with a Guilmon a couple turns ago and it had to egg and it died, then you have 2 already in your trash. So now you're building up a new stack, you go into this guy. You just have to make sure one of you has at least 2 already in trash, and then this guy will trash 3, and then if somebody has at least 5, you get to play a Takato or a Guilmon for free, which is huge. Getting a Takato for free is really great, especially if you don't already have one, or if you need the other one, because we're playing 2 different ones. But playing a Guilmon is huge too, because we have 2 of them that have great on-play effects for search, as well as the on-play effect for, getting rush for the turn. So if it is late game and you're Digivolving this, you're trashing 3 from both players, and then if both players suddenly have 20 in trash total combined, you could use his effect to play out that Guilmon for free, and that gets rush for the turn, and then you've got a whole extra attacker that your opponent did not see coming. So I really like him for getting the free, the trashing and then free playing stuff is so strong. But I also really, really love the BT12 WarGrowlmon as well. 3 cost Digivolution. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, you may Digivolve this into a level 6 Digimon card with Gallantmon in its name from your hand for the Digivolution cost. When this Digimon would Digivolve by this effect, reduce the cost by 1. So really, really strong here. You Digivolve into this, you either delete something that's 4K or less, or what usually ends up happening is that, it's a couple turns in, they already have something stronger than 4K, so you're not going to delete anything. You're actually just going to use him to Digivolve again into a Gallantmon. It has a Gallantmon in name, so it could be Chaos Gallantmon, it could be Gallantmon X-Antibody, anything with Gallantmon in name that's level 6, so it can't be like Crimson Mode, but anything else level 6 with Gallantmon in name. So it gives you a ton of options there. But yeah, and reduce the cost by 1, which is nice. And then you have the end of attack if your opponent has no Digimon in play, and this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, gain 2 memory. So that's super strong as well. Again, I love the fact that it does include Growlmon, so you could play Growlmon X-Antibody, Digivolve on top of this, and use its effect to delete a few things, which also gains you memory. You could then attack with that and still gain the 2 memory from this. So really, really strong. It does make me want to play WarGrowlmon X-Antibody, because that is such a strong card. I have thought about maybe cutting these down to 3 and 3 and playing 2 WarGrowlmon X. I'm still kind of playing around with that idea. These are just both so strong, being able to kind of get a free Digivolution here into a Gallantmon, because with our Takato that gives all of them Blitz, you could essentially Blitz into this, and then if there's nothing to delete, you could kind of Blitz again into a Gallantmon, gain yourself back a few memory, and, kind of gets up 2 stages really, really fast, faster than your opponent might see coming. So they both have really, really strong effects. I love both of them. But like I said, cutting 1 or 2 of them maybe to throw in a WarGrowlmon X-Antibody could be strong. That has, when Digivolving, you pick 2 of your opponent's Digimon to gain on deletion, lose a memory, and then you can delete up to 6K worth of Digimon. So you could pop a Digimon, they lose a memory, which means you gain a memory, and then you could attack, like I said, gain 2 more memory with that. But as is, I'm pretty happy with this as well, so I'm keeping that for now. All right, but on to our main boss, our big bad level 6 mega level Gallantmon here. So I'm playing 3 of the BT12 Gallantmon. This is the best Gallantmon in my opinion. It does have raid, so it can attack your opponent's security, and then it can switch its attack target to the highest DP unsuspended Digimon on your opponent's field. So you can clear out some Digimon that way, which is really good, because this deck is kind of controlly. It does a lot of deleting stuff, so you really want to keep your opponent's field clear most of the time. When Digivolving, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, so that's great. Then you also have, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So that is just so strong. I love that so much. This guy is just so good. You Digivolve into him, you delete a 6K or less, which is probably their only one. Then you attack, raiding into, whatever their strongest Digimon is, clearing them out of the way. And then, since nothing was deleted with the when attacking delete Digimon effect, you can still trash a card without ever having to attack the security, or you could attack the security if they don't have anything else, trashing a card and getting a check in. So it's kind of like having security +1, but a lot safer because it's just trashing it. And it's pretty easy to see this guy get up to like a 14 or even 16 DP with the Guilmon and Growlmon effects, or with Calumon, you know, he can be like 15 or more. So it is pretty easy to get this guy strong enough to raid over most things. But yeah, I really like him a lot. And then the next one we have is our new BT13 Gallantmon. I would consider bumping this guy up to 2. I currently only have the 1, so I'm just playing with what I got at the moment. I do kind of want to play test him at 2 and see how that goes, but I do like the 1 of for now. So his first effect here, when you would play this card from your hand, if you have no Digimon, reduce the play cost by 2 for every 5 total cards in both players' trashes. So again, we're deleting a lot of stuff, we're trashing a lot of stuff. Pretty easy to get both players' total trash to like 20 or more. So he reduces the cost by 2 for every 5 cards. So 2, 4, 6, 8. It's pretty easy to reduce them by 8. That's still not quite enough a lot of the time. So you need at least 25 cards total in trash to be able to drop his cost down to 3. So yeah, late game, this guy can kind of come in clutch if you do have 25 or more cards between you both in your trashes. You can just hard play this guy for 3, sometimes even 1 if you have like 30 cards. And then he just has Rush naturally, so he can attack the turn he's played, so he can kind of come out of nowhere. And he also has on play when digivolving and when attacking. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If no opponent's Digimon was deleted by this effect, delete one of their Digimon with 13,000 DP or more. So it doesn't do anything cool like trashing security, but it can either, there's a small window in there where nothing's affected, but either 6k or less, and if that doesn't work, 13 or more. So it can pop something really huge and really troublesome. But I really love this guy. He pairs greatly with the Guilmon that can warp Digivolve into any Gallantmon for a cost of 4, because you can literally play that Guilmon for 3, the starter deck Guilmon, and then if they have a 6 or higher, you can warp into this one for 4 cost. And if you have a Takato out that gives Blitz, he gains Rush, or he has Rush naturally, so he can attack the turn he's played, even if you just played the Guilmon. And he gains Blitz, so when Digivolving, he can attack even if you pass turn to your opponent at 4. So you can kind of just play a Guilmon, warp into Gallantmon, Blitz, Rush. So that's super powerful. And that's the main reason I kind of want to get 2 of him. But I feel like a lot of times when I'm Digivolving into my WarGrowlmon, this is the one I want to see. And it's come up a few times where he's the only one in my hand. And I don't really want to Digivolve into this one because it's only going to reduce the cost to 4 instead of reducing his cost to 3 when you do the WarGrowlmon special Digivolve thing when nothing's deleted. So yeah, it's a little bit more expensive to Digivolve into him versus him, and he can clear a lot more security. So I don't know. He definitely has his uses. 1 or 2 of is probably the most I would play, and I'd probably still want to keep this guy at least at 3 so you see him more often. Last but not least, though, we have the Gallantmon X-Antibody. And this guy is pretty useful in certain situations. He's not like the most crazy powerful thing ever, but Digivolves for 1 on a Gallantmon, or you can Digivolve him for 4 normally, so you know that's fine. When Digivolving, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP, and if nothing is deleted by this effect, you can unsuspend this Digimon. So that's the main reason we play him, because we attack with a Gallantmon, and then we Digivolve him for 1 to unsuspend him and attack again, basically. Or you can just Digivolve into this. If your opponent only has 1 Digimon out there, no matter how strong it is, it's their lowest DP Digimon. So even if they just have 1 super strong Digimon, you can just Digivolve into this to just clear it, which is really strong too. So it is kind of a nice thing to have in certain situations. And you know, if your Gallantmon manages to clear like their last 2 security, you can Digivolve into this for 1 to unsuspend and attack for that last check. So that can kind of come up. Also, your turn once per turn when an opponent's Digimon is deleted. If this has Gallantmon or X-Antibody in its Digivolution cards, you can trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So you can, even if you don't get the unsuspend, you can Digivolve into him, delete something, and if you Digivolved on top of the Gallantmon, so you have Gallantmon under him, because spoiler alert, we don't play the X-Antibody, or at least I'm not, then you can still trash the security, which is really nice. So he definitely has his uses, it definitely comes up, and I think 2 of is fine. Last but not least, our level 7s. We're playing, of course, 2 Gallantmon Crimson mode. That's pretty much standard in any Gallantmon deck. Now, he is pretty pricey, so you can kind of get away with just playing like 2 Blitz Omnimons from BT5. It gives you kind of the same effect, but this guy, late game, is super, super nuts. One of the strongest cards in the deck, clearly, as level 7s tend to be. But yeah, 6 cost to Digivolve is pretty hefty, but if you have the Takato that gives Blitz, it's not really a big deal. When Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, so that's nuts. It just deletes everything with the highest. If there happens to be a couple that are tied for the highest DP, you can delete 2 or more, but otherwise, it's just deleting the strongest Digimon they have, which is really nice. When attacking, though, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack, so it automatically trashes 1 when attacking, but then add 1 to the number of cards trashed by this effect for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash. So usually by the time you get this guy out, your opponent is almost definitely at least 10 in their trash. Rarely ever do you get far enough, fast enough that they're not at 10. But usually you can trash at least 2 security with this guy to just end the game. You know, if you've already hit him a couple times, lowered their security some, then you just Digivolve into this guy and Blitz, trash at least 1 or 2 security, and just hit for game because his attack will then go through after all their security is trashed. So really strong game ender, and of course you got to play him. All right, and for our Tamers, I've been talking about them the whole time. We play 4 of the EX2 Takatos, and this guy is really the heart and soul of the deck. Everybody says it. You need 4 of him. I used to run with just 3 of him, and that was fine, but I feel like nowadays 4 of him and 3 of the other Takato are pretty necessary. So, you know, you could change my mind in the comments if you think otherwise. Actually, one of the main reasons I changed my mind on that is really just the amount of ways we have to play a Takato for free and search Takato. So now that we have the Guilmon that can search all Takatos, the Growlmon that lets you play one for free if you don't have one, and the WarGrowlmon that lets you play one for free if somebody has 5 or more in their trash. Yeah, there's just, you really want to see the Takato in your hand, and you want to be able to just kind of spam them out. So yeah, your turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. That's huge. Of course, if you have multiples of this guy, you can gain a ton of memory off of 1 little deletion effect, which can help out a lot. Then your turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Gallantmon or Growlmon in its name, that Digimon gains, when Digivolving, Blitz for the turn. So that's super strong, gives all of basically everything in the deck Blitz, which is amazing because it really lets you just push further faster. You can Digivolve into your level 6s as early as turn 2 sometimes with, you know, the WarGrowlmon effect. You know, if it doesn't delete anything, you can Digivolve again into a Gallantmon, so really strong. Blitz is super useful. You need the Blitz to be able to pull off the Crimson mode attack. Yeah, you just absolutely have to have it. And then we have 3 of the new BT12 Takato for 4 costs. This is your memory setter. If you have 2 or less, sets you to 3, of course. But then you also have this main once per turn by placing this Tamer and 1 Growlmon and 1 WarGrowlmon from your trash in any order as the bottom Digivolution cards of your Guilmon. That Digimon may Digivolve into a Gallantmon in your hand for the cost, ignoring its level. The Digimon Digivolved by this effect gains 2000 DP for this turn. And so yeah, that's amazing. You love to see that when it comes up. I will say most of the time he just kind of sits there as a memory setter, but it definitely comes up. You know, we are trashing a lot of things off the top of our deck. Sometimes things get deleted. So you will usually have your Growlmon and your WarGrowlmon in your trash, and then any of your Guilmons can Digivolve straight into a Gallantmon. So, and then get the plus 2000. And one thing I really like about that is with the new BT13 Gallantmon that just inherently has Rush, you can literally play any Guilmon. If you have both Takatos, you can use this Takato with a Growlmon and a WarGrowlmon from your trash to Digivolve that Guilmon you just played straight into a Gallantmon, specifically the BT13 Gallantmon, and then if you have this guy, he just Digivolved it to a Gallantmon, so he gains Rush, so boom, you can attack. So even if you have a totally clear board, except for the 2 Takatos, as long as you just have the 2 Takatos out, you can potentially go straight into a Gallantmon to attack with, which is pretty nuts. And you can also pull off the same combo specifically if you have the EX4 Guilmon that on play gets Rush for the turn if you have 20 or more cards between your trashes. So same combo, but you can Digivolve into any Gallantmon. It doesn't have to be the BT13 one. If you have both Takatos, you play that Guilmon It gains Rush because you have 20 or more cards in trash. Then you can use this to Digivolve with the Growlmon and WarGrowlmon into any of your Gallantmons, gaining Blitz and attacking. And so yeah, you have basically 2 ways to go from almost nothing to just full-on Gallantmon attacking for game or something. So yeah, I really like that potential there. That's the main reason I'm playing the EX4 Guilmon, and that's the main reason I want to kind of bump up the BT13 Gallantmon. Hasn't come up really enough, I think, to invest putting him at 4 myself. But it's a really strong combo, and you know, I think it has some potential to kind of just turn the game back around in your favor. So I like that potential, but that's going to do it for the Tamers. Last but not least, I'm just playing 2 copies of Red Memory Boost for a little more consistency. You know, sometimes you need that little bit of extra memory to help you out late game to really finish it off, and early game just kind of getting, you know, the searches, search for, take any red Digimon. If you really don't get a Guilmon or something, or Gallantmon or something you need, it can help out. Again, kind of a flex spot like the Calumons. This could be something else. You could put in some other options to delete things, but yeah, for now I'm just running with the regular old memory boost. Alright, so that's going to do it for this Gallantmon deck profile. As always, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Do you love it, hate it, what would you change or do differently? I would love to talk about it with you. And if you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it, make sure to smash that like button because it does help me out a lot. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.